Aloha Hawaii, District 25, and mahalo to Olelo Community Media for allowing me to introduce myself. My name is Bobby Silva, and I'm running for State Senate, District 25. So that's Kailua, Lanikai, Enchanted Lakes, Waimānalo, Hawaii Kai, Portlock. I mean, it's all of East Oʻahu. I'm a Kailua boy born and raised, gang. Like, I grew up playing in the canals of Keiki. I spent a lot of time in the ranches in the backwoods of Waimānalo. Surfing Sandy Beach and Makapu was part of my indoctrination into the ocean as a kid. And as a graduate of Mid-Pacific Institute, I had a lot of good friends that lived in Hawaii Kai, so I spent a lot of time tromping around there as a teenager. I graduated from UH. I have a degree in political science, and, while I am new to politics, for the last 25 years, I've spent as a professional in the entertainment industry, running, producing multi-million-dollar projects, everything from movies to television to competition series. And I'm bringing that sense of professionalism, that meticulousness, that dedication, that drive. I'm bringing that to Hawaii state politics, and I think you need that. I've got a platform that I thoroughly believe in, and that is Hawaii needs more. We need more cooperation between our community and our government. We need more accountability from our state and city and county, seeing that when they get something done, it's going to get done. I mean, if a project's going to take 2 weeks, I expect it to take 2 weeks. And if it's not, I'm going to be the senator that's knocking on people's doors asking why not. I feel like Hawaii needs that. I feel like you're asking for that. So that's who I am. Most importantly, when I say Hawaii needs more, our ohana needs more. Our keiki and our kapuna are our most coveted things that we need to take care of. I'm part of the sandwich generation. My children are 7 and 10, and having them grow up Hawaiian style is more magical than anything I could have ever hoped for in their lives. I'm looking at their future. I want to make sure that they're able to afford to live here when they grow up. I'm also looking at my parents. They're both getting on in age. My dad's 80. And they are lucky, guys. They're lucky to own their own home, to have good medical insurance, but a lot of our kapuna are not. And I think looking at the state of how we take care of our elders and make sure they are not priced out of their homes and their paradise and what they've grown up in is a huge part of why I'm running, and a main thing for me to express to the people of Hawaii that I want to see change. I'm a brand new set of eyes coming into this, guys. Career politics are amazing, and the knowledge that they've gained is wonderful, but people get stuck in their ways. So coming into this with a fresh perspective is something that I'm really bringing to the table. My father was an HPD major. He served in the police department for 32 years. And I'm very proud to say that, he was tasked with upholding the law. I want to step in and make better laws for Hawaii, make new laws. I feel it's my turn now. My wife calls me an extreme extrovert. I laugh at that, but I can talk to anybody and everybody. It's what makes me a great television producer. It's what's going to make me a great senator, because I'm going to be able to speak to everybody in the legislature and bring people together to agree on bills and laws that we're going to have coming through. Finally, last but not least, I'm just doing this because I'm a proud Hawaiian. I'm born and raised here. I feel so blessed to have left the islands, pave my way, come back home, and live here again. And to be able to serve the people of Hawaii in this capacity is something that I am extremely excited for and proud to be able to do. So vote for Bobby Silva, State Senate, District 25. I won't let you guys down.
Aloha, my name is Daniel Michael Gabriel, and I am the local conservative option for the State House in District 46. Born and raised in Central Oʻahu, I am accustomed to the family-oriented values, traditions, and needs of the community. As a father of 2, I am on the ground being touched by the same issues that you experience. Following another 2 years of the same leadership, District 46 continues to struggle with a vast list of challenges. Sanitary and safety concerns associated with homeless encampments, rising costs of living, increasing violent and nonviolent crimes, failing infrastructure, pork barrel spending, and the diminishing trust of our constituents. Our most pressing issue is also our most complicated issue. The influx of homeless encampments throughout the district exposes the community to unsanitary, dangerous, and disheveled conditions. These encampments disregard the will of the people and the laws that guide public and private land use. It will take a multidisciplinary approach to address the contributing factors of homelessness in our community. Drug abuse, mental health defects, and the ever-growing cost of living are key contributors to poverty in our community. It is imperative that we clean up the community in which we are blessed to live. We need to educate the youth as well as the overall public regarding the inevitable dangers of drug use and abuse. Fortunately, we still have programs like DARE's Keeping It Real. Homeless individuals suffering from mental health defects must get the care they need for the safety of not only oneself, but also the community at large. I have a plan that utilizes programs that are already in place, such as HONU, coupled with the integration of community-based projects. Such projects, staffed by the participants of the outreach program, will afford them the opportunity to contribute to their community and earn income. I believe we can address the cost of living with proven supply-side economics. This entails a low-rate, broad-based flat tax, spending restraints, sound money, free trade, and minimal regulation. It is the fact that government does not equate to efficiency. Therefore, let us deregulate and place the economy back into the hands of the free market, where it is up to supply and demand to set prices. This scenario creates increased consumer options, higher efficiency, and excelled economic growth. 2 years ago, we experienced historic tax cuts in the state of Hawaii, but we cannot stop there. We need to abandon the progressive tax system and utilize the positive impact of a low-rate, broad-based flat tax. With my experience in accounting and the private sector, I will implement conservative fiscal policy. We are governed by individuals who do not understand the concept of creating value. Our current politicians only know how to receive money and spend it. They do not understand how to create wealth. That is, unless you observe how they are so adept at funneling kickbacks to pad their own nest. The final issue that I would like to champion is that of parental rights. I believe parents must be involved with the decision-making process of their children's medical, educational, and social freedom. Parents, children, and the nuclear family are the backbone of our society. Without their autonomy, we will cease to exist as a nation, island, and community. If elected, I will strive to be the catalyst in the process of implementing no-nonsense, logical solution to the issues facing our community. From new voters to experienced constituents, I look forward to invigorating and involving the community in the political process and its civic duty. Oʻahu is the soil in which my roots are planted. My family, friends, and dreams are interwoven into the fabric of this community. I will fight tooth and nail for the people, values, and natural resources that we possess in these islands. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Representative Amy Perruso, and I'm honored to represent House District 46, Wahiwa, Whitmore Village, Launani Valley, Waialua, and Mokuleia. I'm running for re-election because I believe Hawaii is at a turning point. People are working harder than ever, yet too many families are struggling to afford housing, healthcare, childcare, and even the basics. At the same time, many people are losing faith that government can solve our biggest problems. I understand why. For too long, our political system has often responded more quickly to wealth and power than to ordinary people. But I still believe something different is possible. I believe democracy is the way we accomplish together what none of us can accomplish alone. That's why one of the accomplishments I'm most proud of this year was strengthening our democracy. This session, Hawaii passed Senate Bill 2471, groundbreaking legislation that reasserts our state's authority over corporations it creates. Instead of accepting that unlimited corporate money is simply part of our political system, the bill makes clear that the privileges the state grants to corporations do not include the power to spend money to influence our elections or ballot measures. It's one of the first efforts in the nation to directly challenge the growing influence of corporate money in politics. Because when concentrated corporate wealth can dominate our political system, it becomes harder for working families and local communities to have an equal voice. Democracy works best when government answers first to people, not to the largest economic interests. And when government truly works for people, we can build the future our communities deserve. We can invest in excellent public schools. We can rebuild a healthcare system that puts people before profits, restoring community-owned hospital service to Wahiawa, for example, and strengthening community hospitals across Hawaii, continuing the work towards Medicare for all in Hawaii. We can create a more circular economy and strengthen our farm-to-state food systems by investing in our small regenerative farmers and in restorative aquaculture. We can convert thousands of cesspools so as to protect public health and nearshore water quality, while also supporting managed retreat and all of the mitigation and resilience work we need to do in the face of climate crisis. We can literally end homelessness by investing in affordable housing, mental health care, drug use treatment, and the support that helps people rebuild their lives. We can complete Hawaii's clean energy revolution by making sure the economic benefits of abundant solar energy flow directly to our communities through lower electric bills, good local jobs, and greater energy independence. And we can make those investments by asking those who have benefited the very most from Hawaii's economy to contribute just a little more towards the future we all share. Because democracy isn't just about elections. It's about making sure the prosperity we create together is invested back into the people who created it. I'm hopeful because we're beginning to see new energy and new leadership in the House. Leadership that's willing to confront long-standing challenges instead of simply managing them. But my greatest source of hope is not coming from inside the Capitol. It's coming from our community. I've worked with neighbors to organize the Protect Mauna Ka'ala from Inappropriate Commercial Development against a gondola for almost a decade, and we finally won. I stood with our community as we fought against a landfill proposed on productive agricultural land above one of Oahu's most important aquifers. And after devastating floods, I watched neighbors care for neighbors, proving once again that our greatest strength has always been one another. Those experiences remind me that democracy isn't something we practice only on election day. It's something we build every single day when communities come together to solve problems, protect the places we love, and create the future we want for our children. That's why I'm running again. Because I believe Hawaii's best days are still ahead of us. Together, we can build a Hawaii where democracy belongs to the people. Prosperity is shared, and every community has the opportunity to thrive. Mahalo for your trust, and I humbly ask House District 46 residents for your vote.
Aloha, my name is Rocklin Youngstrom, and I am running to represent District 46 in the Hawaii State House. District 46 is home to Wahiawa, Whitmore Village, Wailua, Mokulea, and the communities around Schofield Barracks. But to me, it's so much more than just a district, it's my home. I grew up in Wailua, Wahiawa, and on Schofield Barracks. My dad served 14 years in active duty, so I grew up in a military family where service wasn't just something that we talked about, it was our way of life. Those experiences shaped who I am today, and they're a big part of why I'm running for District 46. I've worked as a legislative aide at the Hawaii State Capitol, served as a field representative for the Leadership Institute, and today I have the privilege and honor of serving as the chair of the Hawaii Young Republicans. Those experiences gave me a front row seat to how government works, but they also showed me where we're falling short. After talking with the people across District 46, one thing has become clear. People are tired of being ignored. We're tired of feeling like no one's listening, and honestly, we're tired of watching the same problems get worse. One of those problems that comes to mind is public safety. Hawaii is ranked the second worst state in the country to be a police officer. When we can't recruit and retain officers, it's not just law enforcement that suffers. It's every single family that depends on them. Right here in our district, officers from the Wahiawa station cover everything from Mililani to the North Shore. That's a huge area, and when they're short-staffed, response times get longer, and our families are the ones left waiting. The same thing is happening with our 911 system. It's critically understaffed, and people have waited as long as 20 minutes just to reach a dispatcher. 20 minutes isn't just inconvenient during an emergency, it's unacceptable. A state representative surely can't run the police department, but we can most definitely address the things that the legislature controls. We can improve recruitment and retention, strengthen retirement benefits, modernize our 911 system, and make sure dispatchers are recognized as the first responders and heroes that they are. But here's the thing, that staffing crisis didn't happen overnight. It comes back to the issue I hear about more than anything else, the cost of living. Families across the district and across our state are working harder than ever, but still struggling to make ends meet. Young people like myself who grew up here are leaving because they don't think that they can afford to build a future in Hawaii. We're training teachers, police officers, and first responders only to watch them leave because they can't afford to stay. That's why I think every bill that comes before the legislature should have to answer one simple question. Does this help local families afford to stay in Hawaii, or does this make their life harder? If it makes their life harder, I'm going to fight it and I'm going to vote no. And because I grew up in a military family, I also want to make sure we're taking care of the people who have served our country. With Schofield, Wheeler, and Helemano right here in our district, military families are a part of the fabric of our very community. Too many service members want to stay in Hawaii after they leave the military, but they feel like they can't. I want to change that by creating stronger pathways into careers like law enforcement. We already have disciplined, highly trained men and women who want to continue serving their community and their country. Let's make it easier for them to stay here and keep serving our community. At the end of the day, I don't care whether a good idea or a good bill comes from a Republican or a Democrat. If it helps the people of District 46, I will work with anyone across the aisle to get it done. I'm not running because I want a title. I'm running because I love this community. I want our families to be able to afford to stay here. I want our neighborhoods to be safe. And I want people to know that they have someone at the Capitol who's actually listening. I'm promising you honesty, I'm promising you hard work, and I'm promising that I will show up every single day and fight for the people of District 46. If what I've shared tonight resonates with you, I'd be honored to earn your vote. This campaign is powered by the people, not special interest, and together, I believe that we can move District 46 in the right direction. Mahalo, and let's rock the vote.
Aloha kākou. My name is Jesse Fitzgerald. I am a 30-year resident of Kailua, and I am running for the House seat of District 50, representing the Ahupua'a of Kailua and Kāneʻohe. I grew up on the Windward side, spending my childhood in Laie, body surfing at Hukilau, fishing the reefs, and hunting for glass balls. Later, we moved to Kahalu'u, and then Makiki, where I went to the public schools of Lincoln, Stevenson, and Roosevelt. Later, I made my way to the University of Hawaii, where I received a bachelor's degree in anthropology with a focus on Hawaiian and Pacific cultures. I am running on the Green Party ticket, championing their progressive scientific-based policies that would deliver common sense solutions to our island's problems. Hawaii is in a state of emergency. Governor Josh Green has stated housing, medical, utilities, and food costs are the #1 factor in creating homelessness. These costs are out of control and causing many of us locals to leave the islands or suffer from the insecurities and anxieties these economic realities pose to the common person. Hawaii is no stranger to these issues, and we have already lost too many of our neighbors, friends, and family to these economic factors. As a second-generation painting contractor, I am familiar with the hard work and effort it takes to run a small and humble subsistence-type business. The harsh economic realities of providing health care for employees and myself and family is a heavy burden that is often too much to bear. and a reason so many small businesses fail. Not to mention the rampant proliferation of unlicensed activity that, although illegal, goes unchecked, forcing wages to remain stagnant and companies to close. To help small tax-paying businesses, we need to put some teeth in the laws that already exist regarding unlicensed activity. Combine that with Medicare for All and promoting a stronger union membership across all sectors to ensure that workers are provided with living wages, benefits, sick time, vacation pay, and a retirement to ensure that those who've worked hard their entire lives may grow old with dignity, and help provide an intergenerational safety net, allowing families to stay together and in their homes. We need to deal with the high cost of utilities to create a green energy infrastructure, providing jobs and affordable renewable solar energy, to increase credits to kupuna and vulnerable populations to keep people in their homes. Josh Green says we have some of the best results in the nation for healthcare, yet he failed to mention that Hawaiians suffer a greater disparity in these outcomes and suffer from some of the worst health issues in America. This is unacceptable and tragic, especially when Hawaii, as a constitutional monarchy, had universal health care and the Queen levied a $2 tax on visitors to help fund this. I would argue we need to vigorously pursue health care for all. The loopholes that allow large corporations like 7-Eleven, Whole Foods, Chevron, Long's Drugs, Starbucks, to name a few, to skirt the healthcare requirements to part-time employees need to be closed. They also need to be unionized to provide living wages. Too many corporations pay their employees so little the state provides assistance for working people. This isn't effective subsidizing the profits of these billion-dollar corporations. The Green Party and I wholeheartedly back the recognition of Hawaiian sovereignty and ways to reconcile the illegal overthrow and subsequent impoverishment of the Hawaiian people. I wholeheartedly support the legalization of cannabis. This would be done with a revitalization of the agriculture sector to bring affordable quality food products to our shelves, schools, and government institutions, thus creating thousands of sustainable land-based jobs. It would bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in diversified products. Eliminating cannabis's needless prosecution allows our police to focus on other more serious matters. The Green Party seeks to provide the economic solutions, ideas, and science-based dialogue of which I agree with. I humbly ask you for your support to bring these common sense solutions and an oversight to the current establishment. Thank you all for listening to this message, and as your elected representative, I would not back down to bringing these conversations to the halls of power. Together, we may move forward in dignity and love for our children. I am ashamed to leave this world and this Hawaii in a worse state for our descendants. I want families to be together, to never leave, to keep everyone close in this land that has the potential to provide and unite us all in aloha. Mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Micah Kalama, and I am running for the Hawaii State House of Representatives for District 51, proudly representing Waimānalo, Keolu Hills, Enchanted Lakes, and Lanikai. I was born and raised right here in the back roads of Waimānalo. I believe that matters. Representation of our communities isn't just someone who moves here and decides to call this place home and wanted to make changes. I believe our communities deserve leadership that understands our struggles, our values, and our hopes for the future because they have lived them too. I come from a proud, multi-generational family rooted in Waimānalo, Kailua, and throughout Hawaii. Growing up on a farm and ranch, I learned early that hard work, humility, and taking care of one another are not just values we talk about, they are values we live. I attended Keolu Elementary, Kailua Intermediate, and graduated from Iolani School. Like many kids growing up on the Windward side, sports connected me to our community. I played football with the Windward Tigers, baseball with Kailua American Little League, basketball in the PAL and KBA leagues, soccer with Haisa, and boxed at Kāneʻohe Gym. Those experiences taught me discipline, teamwork, and perseverance. I was in band and choir and performing arts too. These all helped me earn many accolades in high school as an all-state player and earned an academic and athletic soccer scholarship to Menlo College in California. And eventually I continued my education in receiving my arts and psychology degree. But no matter where life took me, I always knew I would come home. Hawaii is home. This is where my family is, where my roots are, and where I have chose to serve. My father spent more than 40 years as a carpenter and tradesman, helping build homes and communities throughout Hawaii while continuing our family legacy of Hawaiian canoe building. My mother dedicated her life to preserving our history and culture as a Hawaiian archaeologist and researcher. During difficult times, our family made puakenikeni lei to help make ends meet. Like many local families, we learned that nothing comes easy and that you have to work hard for everything you have. Today, I worry about the same things many families worry about. I worry about whether our children and grandchildren will be able to afford to stay here. I worry about our kupuna being forced to leave the communities they helped build. I worry about working families who are doing everything right but still feel like they are falling behind. 30 years ago, million-dollar homes seemed like they existed only on the ocean front. Today, every house price tag is $1 million. The cost of groceries, electricity, insurance, rent, and housing keeps climbing, while many families are wondering how much longer they can afford to stay in the islands they love. And while the cost of living rises, many people feel the government is not keeping up. I feel that way. We still have homelessness growing. We still see aging infrastructure, affordability. We still hear the same concerns year and after year. And too many families are asking when real solutions are coming. That is why I'm running, not because I have all the answers, but because I believe leadership means showing up, listening, and working together to solve problems. Throughout my life, I've worked in the TV production, hospitality management, served as a flight attendant for Hawaiian Airlines, coached our youth, helped preserve our canoe traditions, and volunteered with organizations dedicated to strengthening our communities. Service has never been about titles for me. It has always been about giving back. My priorities are simple. First, we must help local families remain in Hawaii. Housing should be for residents first, not investment portfolios. I support expanding housing opportunities, making home ownership more attainable, and exploring ways to discourage speculative purchases and multiple investment properties that drive prices beyond the reach of local families. Second, we must invest in our keikis. Teachers deserve better pay. Our schools deserve better facilities, and our children deserve opportunities that prepare them to succeed right here at home. Third, we must lower the cost of living. Working families and our kupuna should not have to choose between paying bills and remaining in the community they love. Government should focus on practical solutions that make life more affordable. Fourth, Aina should always be preserved and protected. That is the right of the people, and that's the Hawaiian way. And it should always be that way. I believe leadership means being present, accessible, and accountable. I'm not a career politician. I am a son of Waimānalo. I am a worker, I am a coach, and I am a community volunteer. I believe fresh leadership grounded in aloha, malama, and kuleana can make a difference. Together we can build a Hawaii where families can afford to live, where our children can thrive, and where future generations have the opportunity to call these islands home. I humbly ask for your support and your vote for the State House District 51. Vote Micah Kalama by mail beginning in late July or on primary election day, August 8, 2026. Mahalo, and may God bless our communities and the people of Hawaii.
Aloha, my name is Lisa Marten, and I have the immense honor of representing and working for the residents of District 51. Waimānalo, Keʻolu Hills, Enchanted Lake, Lanikai, and Kailua Gardens. I want to share a little about myself and the work I'm seeking to continue at the legislature with your vote. I grew up in Kailua, attending Kailua Intermediate and Kalaheo High with a social worker mother and an ecologist father. I had dreams of helping the poorest of the poor, which led to a master in public policy at Harvard, followed by work with indigenous Mayans in Guatemala, running a child and infant nutrition program. I returned to school at Columbia University and earned a doctorate in public health, followed by work in Southeast Asia on youth health and on HIV prevention. After I had my sons, I moved back home to raise them here with my ohana while I worked for the UH Medical School. Then, a dozen years ago, I was so worried about climate change that I founded the nonprofit Healthy Climate Communities, which does environmental education in our schools, teacher training, and is restoring a native forest with help from students and community volunteers on the watershed of Hamakua Marsh in Kailua. You may have noticed the traditional hale and planting happening on the hillside on Hamakua Drive right before Enchanted Lake. Outside of work, I was concerned by the over-tourism in Kailua and the use of our beaches for kayak businesses and of our neighborhoods as vacation rentals instead of homes. I joined community organizations and the neighborhood board and showed up time and time again to testify to successfully advocate to regulate these practices. I worked with my then representative, Chris Lee, to get people to stop parking in the bike lane by raising the fines, and also on renewable energy. When I heard he was moving to the Senate, I thought I could keep working on all the issues my community cares about even more effectively as a legislator. I now spend a lot of time learning from constituents about the issues important to them, which is my favorite part of the job. Then I'm able to call on experts or state agencies to help find solutions. I've also been developing relationships and seniority for District 51. The last 3 years, I chaired the Human Services and Homelessness Committee, which looks out for funding and program improvements to Medicaid, SNAP, Child Welfare Service, programs for kupuna, troubled youth, and the disabled. This past year, we put over $100 million into making up for cuts by the Trump administration to Medicaid, SNAP, and the federal health insurance marketplace. We also passed bills on kupuna housing and care, strengthening families, and housing for the homeless statewide. This included supporting and expanding 2 facilities in Waimānalo to have places our local homeless are willing to go. In June, we opened 20 new units at the former Windward village in Waimānalo. More shelters makes a difference. The latest point-in-time count finally shows a decrease in unsheltered homeless. There's much more to do, especially for our mentally ill homeless. We have a law to allow involuntary treatment mandated by the courts for those who are a danger to themselves or others, but it's not used. I'm working on getting it used so people have the opportunity to transform their lives with medical treatment that works. I also chair the Keiki Caucus, which works with organizations that serve children to pass bills. I serve on the committee which oversees DHHL spending $600 million we funded to create more homesteads, and I continually advocate for more funding. I serve on the Invasive Species Council and have been hands-on involved in funding and working to combat little fire ants, coconut rhinoceros beetles, and coqui frogs, all of which infest our district. Right now, there's a UH program I funded for residents to get free supplies to protect their palms from CRB. I'm also working now on flood prevention in Waimānalo, on cleaning up the Ka'elipulu waterway, on cleanup of the ammunition at Bellows, and any other issue important to my constituents. If you live in District 51, please reach out to my office with your concerns as I still work for you. Mahalo for working with me to protect our home.